Have you ever wondered what secret powers lie within the realm of intermittent fasting? Well, let's unlock those secrets together. Intermittent fasting, contrary to popular belief, isn't a diet. It's more like a dance of eating and not eating, a rhythm that your body learns to move with. Now, there are several ways to lead this dance. Some prefer the 16-8 method, where you feast for 8 hours and fast for the remaining 16. Others may choose the 5-2 diet, eating normally for 5 days and significantly reducing calorie intake for 2. Or maybe you're more of an eat-stop-eat kind of person, fasting for a whole day once or twice a week. These are not rigid rules, but flexible patterns that can be tailored to fit your lifestyle and health goals. So if it's not a diet, then what's the magic behind intermittent fasting? Let's dive deeper. Did you know your body is like a hybrid car? That might sound a bit odd, but let me explain. You see, just like a hybrid car switches between gas and electric power, your body also switches between two primary energy sources, glucose and stored fat. Imagine for a moment you're driving a hybrid car. At first, you're using gasoline. It's readily available, easy to burn, and gets you from point A to point B. This is like glucose in your body. When you eat, your body breaks down carbohydrates into glucose, which it uses for immediate energy. But what happens when you run out of gas? You wouldn't just stop in the middle of the road, would you? Of course not. You'd switch to electric power. The same goes for your body. When glucose levels run low, as they do during a fasting period, your body has to switch to its alternative energy source, stored fat. Here's where the magic of intermittent fasting comes in. By intentionally restricting your eating periods, you're forcing your body to make this energy switch more often. And when your body starts burning fat for fuel, well, that's when you start losing weight. This isn't just a random guess. It's backed by science. Studies have shown that intermittent fasting can increase your metabolic rate, reducing the amount of food energy that gets stored as fat. It's like getting better gas mileage out of your hybrid car. And here's the kicker. Not only does this process help with weight loss, it also has a host of other health benefits. Intermittent fasting can improve insulin resistance, reduce inflammation, and even enhance brain function. It's like upgrading your car to a top-of-the-line model just by changing how you fuel it. So, fasting is like taking your body on a joyride to fat-burning land. But how to start this journey? Stay tuned. Starting a new journey is always exciting and nerve-wracking, isn't it? Kind of like beginning a new Netflix series. There are so many episodes, plot twists, and characters to keep track of. But soon, you're hooked. And before you know it, you're binge-watching at 2 in the morning. Now, let's translate that dedication into starting your intermittent fasting journey. First off, let's put the intermittent in intermittent fasting. You don't have to go from zero to hero overnight. Start with shorter fasting periods. Try skipping breakfast first, and then gradually extend your fasting window. It's like the warm-up episode before the season gets really good. Next, let's talk hydration. Just because you're fasting doesn't mean you give up on water. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Stay hydrated throughout your fasting window. It's like the commercial break in your Netflix binge. You might not always want it, but trust me, you need it. Now we're on to the main course, or rather, your eating periods. Here's where balance becomes your best friend. Think of it as the diverse cast of characters in your favorite series. You need a mix of proteins, fats, and carbs to keep the story interesting. A well-rounded meal will not only keep you satiated, but also ensure you're getting all the nutrients your body needs. And remember, this isn't a race. It's okay to take breaks, adjust your fasting hours, and listen to your body's cues. It's more of a marathon binge watch than a sprint. Lastly, don't forget to enjoy the journey. There's a reason we call it Netflix and chill, not Netflix and stress. Find joy in the process of discovering your body's rhythm and what works best for you. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will your fasting habit. But how to make it easier? Let's find out. Ever thought fasting could be as easy as pie? Well, without the actual pie, of course. Now, let's dive into some tips to make your intermittent fasting journey smoother than a jazz record on a Sunday afternoon. Firstly, keep yourself busy during fasting hours. Remember, an idle mind is the devil's workshop, and in this case, the devil is your rumbling stomach. So whether it's work, a hobby, or finally getting around to learning the ukulele, staying busy will keep your mind off food. Now, let's talk about drinks. If you're feeling peckish, a cup of black coffee or tea can be your best friend. It's like a warm hug for your stomach, and it can help you feel full without breaking your fast. Just remember, we're talking straight up black, no cream or sugar. I know, it's like watching a movie without popcorn, but trust me, you'll get used to it. Next, consider trying a fasting app. Think of it as your personal fasting assistant, always there to remind you when it's time to start or break your fast. It's like having a mini personal trainer in your pocket, minus the sweat and shouting. And finally, remember that it's okay to start slow. You wouldn't run a marathon without training, right? So don't expect to master fasting overnight. Start with shorter fasts and gradually work your way up. It's not a race, it's a journey. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds easier than trying to understand the ending of Inception. And you're right. It's all about finding what works best for you and sticking to it. So there you have it, folks. Some simple tips to make your intermittent fasting journey easier. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. So take it one day at a time, and before you know it, you'll be a fasting pro. With these tips, intermittent fasting can become your second nature. But what about fasting for a whole month like in Ramadan? Let's explore. Fasting for a month? Sounds like a mission impossible, right? But millions do it every year in Ramadan. And guess what? Intermittent fasting can be a fantastic preparation for this holy month. How so, you ask? Well, let's dive into the details. Ramadan fasting is from dawn to sunset, which can be a significant stretch of time, especially during the longer summer days. But hey, if you've been practicing intermittent fasting, you've already been training your body to go without food for extended periods. It's like you've been in a boot camp for Ramadan all along. Now let's talk about suhoor, the pre-dawn meal. It's like the breakfast of champions for those observing Ramadan. You'll want to make it count. So we recommend a meal packed with complex carbohydrates, proteins, and healthy fats. Think whole grain bread, eggs, avocados, and nuts. They'll provide sustained energy throughout the day. And let's not forget hydration, a glass of water or two, or maybe even a smoothie. Next up, iftar, the meal to break the fast. The tradition is to start with dates and water, a practice that's not just symbolic, but also incredibly healthy. Dates are packed with natural sugars and fiber that provide immediate energy and help regulate digestion. For the main meal, a balance of lean proteins, veggies, and some carbohydrates is ideal. But what about the days leading up to Ramadan? Well, you can start by gradually increasing your fasting hours. If you've been doing a 16-8 intermittent fasting schedule, try extending your fast by an hour or two. This can help make the transition to Ramadan fasting smoother and less of a shock to your system. Remember, the key is to listen to your body, adjust as needed, and always prioritize your health and well-being. After all, fasting, whether it's intermittent or for Ramadan, is not just about abstaining from food. It's a holistic practice that brings physical, mental, and spiritual benefits. With intermittent fasting, you can turn Ramadan from a mission impossible to a mission accomplished. So, are you ready to unlock the secret powers of intermittent fasting? Well, we've certainly covered a lot today. We've unraveled the science behind intermittent fasting, shedding light on its weight loss superpowers. It's not about starving, but rather, it's a strategic approach to eating that can help you shed those stubborn pounds. We've also given you a roadmap to embark on your fasting journey. Remember, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Take it slow, listen to your body, and find what works best for you. And we've shared some handy tips to make fasting a bit easier, especially for our friends preparing for Ramadan. Hydrate, have balanced meals, and keep your eye on the prize, that sweet victory of personal growth and health benefits. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, or in this case, a single skipped meal. Until next time, happy fasting!